Good morning, folks. Everything new under the sun. Here's an economic article. This is from zerohedge.com. And if you look at this image, it's a great representation of really what I've been saying for a long time. The progression from economic collapse to war. Sometimes it's triggered the other way. Sometimes war triggers economic collapse. But in this case, I think this is what's occurring. And we know that 1929 started with tariffs, trade war. That was the triggering point which caused the 1929 collapse. And what do we see recently? We have trade wars and tariffs put in place by Trump against China. So the world's reserve currency country is now trying to put a trade imbalance in place so that they can make more money effectively. Apparently to correct the current imbalance in trade. And so this is a great timeline of the events that I think are very likely to occur. And so we're going to take a look at some of these things. So it starts with a trade imbalance. It escalates into a financial crisis. And then there's a currency war, interestingly, with the yuan. I believe that's a mark for the yuan and the dollar. Interesting that those two currencies are illustrated there. And then you have a full-out trade war, which is a Cold War, if you will, and then you have the full-out hot war. So what is this article saying about this? Let's see. The next crisis could come soon and pave the way for a large-scale military conflict, and that's the order of things. Historically, that's what occurs. The next crisis is closer than we all think. Let's see, in the current social, political, and technological landscape, a prolonged economic crisis combined with rising income inequality could escalate into a major global conflict. In 08-09, global financial crisis almost bankrupted governments and caused systemic collapse. Policymakers managed to pull the global economy back from the brink using massive monetary stimulus, including quantitative easing and near zero interest rates. That's what we've been dealing with the last number of years, basically the last 10 years. They printed money out of thin air that has no backing by anything, and basically they've caused the whole world reserve currency to be absolutely watered down, and the debt to skyrocket. It says, but monetary stimulus is like an adrenaline shot to jumpstart an arrested heart. It can revive the patient, but it does nothing to cure the disease. Treating a sick economy requires structural reforms, which can cover everything from financial and labor markets to tax systems. Policymakers have utterly failed to pursue such reforms. There's been nothing fixed effectively. The debt exists. It's not been fixed. We've simply added to the debt and kicked the can down the road. A lack of structural reform has meant that unprecedented excess liquidity that central banks injected into their economies was not allocated to its most efficient uses. Instead, it raised global asset prices to levels even higher. So the end result is that there was lots of free and easy money, and that pushed stock markets higher because more people have more cash, more dollars to buy the same stock with. So that means stock prices go up, but because in a completely bogus manner, it does that. As monetary tightening reveals vulnerabilities in the real economy, the collapse of asset price bubbles will trigger another economic crisis, one that could be even more severe than the last because we have built up a tolerance to our strongest macroeconomic medications. If history is any guide, the consequences of this mistake could extend far beyond the economy. And so this is where I think things are going. I think we're heading towards economic collapse, and after economic collapse becomes a war. And what's the timeline of end time Bible prophecy? It's exactly that: economic collapse, and then some of the big wars and end time Bible prophecy. So I think this is a clear indication of what's coming, a timeline, if you will, that you can use. And so we'll leave it there, guys. I'll put the link in the description. You can check it out in the description, and we'll see you guys in the next video.